Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Dr. Deborah Jenkins, your host for Black Talk Platform. We've been away for a week, but we are back with an exciting show. I'm very excited about tonight's show because we're keeping it light. We're not taking on the heavy subjects tonight. I really wanted to end the year out on a more positive note. And so, how better to do it than to share with my audience two wonderful authors who I've known in different capacities over the years. And they have both written new books or first books. And I really wanted to share them with you all. And I pray that after hearing from them and them sharing their books with you, you will feel so compelled to go and purchase it from one of these dynamic authors. Tonight's my guests are Pamela James. She is a new author, the author of A Breath of Inspiration. It is a dynamic book of poetry, and she's going to talk a little bit more about it very soon. And next to her is Miss Hope Hollingsworth Coaxum, and I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing her name, and I'm so sorry, Hope, not intended. She is a playwright, and I don't want to give so much away because I want them to tell you about themselves. But she's an author, and her newest book is called Souls, and they're going to talk about it in a few minutes. But we want to just say thank you all for hanging in with Black Talk Platform for such a long time throughout this year, and welcome back to the show tonight. Let me just start by asking both of these ladies a little bit about themselves. I'm going to start with Pamela. Pamela,
Yeah.
can you tell us about your background and your inspiration for writing the book?
Okay. My background, my first vocation is a nurse, and then I went to seminary, and I have a master's in divinity. Why did I write the book? God compelled me to write the book. So this book, A Breath of Inspiration, was written over a couple of decades, believe it or not. So it just was birth. This was a long labor. And so during this COVID season, God said to me, "What's your excuse now?" I was not working. So he said, "You can put this book of poetry together." And so that's how this book, A Breath of Inspiration, was birthed.
That is incredible. I did not know you were a nurse. Why did I think you were a teacher?
Because I work in the school.
Okay, she's the school's nurse.
Yeah.
Oh, so your job is extremely critical at this point in time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think your book is really timely, some of the poems that I've read in there. So that's awesome. Let's ask Hope the same question. Hope, can you give us your background? Anything you all want to share about yourselves is wonderful.
Okay.
So, as far as my professional background, I work in a government office. Um, I am a mom, and I'm an entrepreneur, a novelist, a playwright, producer, director, a founder and co-founder of organizations. One is Hope Healing and Growth, and the others is the Mothers 2016. And I always like to say that I'm a Gold Star mom.
Wow. And the gold star mom piece is the part that none of us ever want to be, of course. But you do it with such grace. You keep
Yes,
your son's memory alive, and I love that.
yes.
Um, I'm gonna, if you all will allow me, we're gonna just be very, if you've watched the show, you know I'm very laid back, but you both know me in different capacities. I'm very down to earth. So I want this to be very conversational. I want to talk about your books. But just before we started, my son and I were talking about you, Hope. We were talking about the last time we saw you.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember, but Hope was doing one of her plays, and so I treated my sister for her birthday, and we went out to Jersey where it was being at the Hackensack Performing Arts Center. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it happened to be on January 26th. Do you remember what that day was, Hope? Aside from the
Um,
play.
well, for me, January 26th was also my wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah,
Look at that. Look at that. I did not know that. I did not
yeah,
know that.
yeah,
Uh, well, for the world, and that's wonderful. That
yeah.
was breath
January
of fresh air.
26th was also when, unfortunately, when Kobe Bryant and his daughter lost their lives on that
Yes.
flight. Yes.
Yes. We were parking in the garage and there was, it was so quiet there,
Mhm.
but just before we went into Hope's play, young man came downstairs. He's like, "Did you hear? Did y'all hear? Did y'all hear?" And it was just devastating. And then the play, being a heartstring puller, also it was a wonderful evening. But it's a memorial one that we'll always remember. And now we can also congratulate you and your husband on your on January 26th going forward.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
forward.
So when we did, when we were in the middle of, I think, like the first part of the documentary, it's a documentary and play, but I had gotten a text message saying that Kobe Bryant and his daughter killed in a plane crash. So it was very emotional for the actors because they all knew at that point, and they all were just coming on stage knowing that, and the documentary is already very, very heavy.
Yes.
So having to deal with that and then having to act out these scenes was even more of an emotional break for each of them.
And they were all exceptional.
Yes,
And to be able to be that professional and as I said, exceptional in their
yes,
portrayal, kudos to you and to your ensemble.
yes,
Just kudos to you all. I think one of your actors lives in my community
yes.
because I can't remember her name, but
Passion.
yes, life is so crazy. Life is just so crazy. Hope and I have known each other for a very, very long time. I think I had written my first or my second book, and a mutual friend was doing an event, and we met there in the Bronx on the Grand Concourse. I don't know where we were, but it's been so many years, so many years. And you've just kept up your literary career, and I love it. I love it. You've been very consistent. And so we're going to get to your newest, it's a collaboration, I believe. I haven't purchased it yet, but I will.
Yes.
It's a collaboration, so we'll get into that in a little while. Pamela,
Yeah.
being a first-time author,
Yes.
tell us how that feels.
Oh my gosh, how does it feel? Well, it was a lot of hard work. It was very, very challenging. At times I wanted to give up and not do it, but I continue to do it, and I feel good. I feel like I accomplished what God has put on my heart to do, and that feels good. It feels good to finally how can I say, give birth to that baby, which is a
Wow.
breath of inspiration. It feels really good. I'm
And
excited.
I love it because now knowing that you're a nurse and having read it, right?
Mm,
Your compassion,
mm,
in spite of, comes
mhm,
through. In
mm,
spite of all that the content offers to us all, right? As
mhm,
readers, your compassion and your love for humanity is evident throughout. And that says a whole lot. That really says a whole lot. That was insight about you that I didn't have as I was reading, right?
right.
But I believe that knowing that about yourself, about who you are, the author, and
Mhm,
then when people pick up your book of poetry,
right.
they're going to see what I see because
Mm,
I already liked it. But
mhm,
now this is a different layer. And I believe it's something that you want to include when you do your book signings and all of that. Let people know,
okay.
right?
Okay.
You know, I'm going to push y'all. Yeah, well, Hope, I don't even know if you need to be pushed because you're just out there doing it. But Pamela, tell us what's your favorite poem. Do you want to share? Do either of you want to share? I didn't ask you all to prepare, but I really want the readers the audience to connect with you as authors tonight. So you can, or you don't have to, but I love how you all present yourselves. So if you are willing, that's fine. Um, Tell me then, if you're still trying to decide whether or not you want to share from your books, what do you want the reader to take away from your work?
I think I want the reader to take away that this book kind of shapes itself for them. It's not my poetry. It's a book where it takes them where they want to be. So as they read each poem, it takes them in the space that they're in. And the poem that really speaks to where we are now is I Feel Angry. And that's the first poem. And I struggle with even putting that, and Dr. Jenkins Snow putting that first. And so I Feel Angry talks about COVID. It talks about the injustices. It talks about how people go to the hospital are not respected, that they're in need of care. It talks about all the isms that we experience, but it ends with hope. And it talks about not continuing to be complacent. And I think coming as a Black woman, and that I feel angry being put like Black woman, angry Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really nervous about putting that there. And also coming from a pastoral point, we don't want to express our emotions. And God gave us the emotion of anger. And I think it's important for us to be able to express it, not say everything is good. Yes, God is good, but everything is not good. And sometimes you get angry and it's okay. I think it's important what we do with that anger. And I want people to use that anger to fuel their passion to make a difference. And I just don't feel angry, but use it to make a difference. And so these poetry actually helps people to take flight wherever they are. You know, you might read it today and something sticks out to you, and you might read it tomorrow and say, you know, I like Naked. Naked is another one I love. I love Naked because it talks about being who you are and nothing else. And that's important for a lot of people to acknowledge and be safe and comfortable with, you know? And so that's another poem I love. Those are just two for me. I don't want to take up all the time. And I did purchase, I hope I purchased your book. And so I'm going to lift it up. I'm halfway through. Wait a minute, I can't show it. I'm sorry, I had to my computer. And I could not put this book down. I'm halfway through. I got it Amazon 2 days ago, I think. And I can't put it down. It is so engaging. It is so awesome. So you can tell them about your book, but it's little stories and it grabs you. It really does. I'm totally impressed. Thank you.
Well, you know, I like both of those poems too, a lot. I really like I'm Angry. I really do, because it actually shows the reader that it's okay to be angry.
Yes.
You know, it invites them to be real with their feelings. Pamela, I think your volume may be too high.
Okay.
I'm not sure. That's probably why we're getting a little feedback.
Okay, let me turn it down. How's that? Is that better?
That is better.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I want to say this for sisterhood. I love the way you two have supported one another.
Yes.
Sight unseen, other than your promotional pictures.
That's it.
But you sold into each other's book ministries, you know, and I love that. And that's really the community that I'm trying to create here. Yes. And one of my monikers is I shine, you shine. If I'm shining and Pamela and Hope are not, then something is wrong. Exactly. There's something wrong if Deborah is getting all of the light. That's just the world that I live in. And you all don't know each other, but you knew that you should support one another. And I love that. Can you all speak to why? Because I know everyone is not like that. Why you two? Why? What made you rush out to buy each other's books?
For me, I just felt like when you say sisterhood, I think it's important for us to encourage one another. I think it's important for us to say to each other that I appreciate the work that you do. I appreciate the work that you put into, whether it's a book, whether it's clothing, whether it's whatever business or however you became an entrepreneur. I think it's important to sow a seed into that individual's business, because a lot of people think that it's competition, and it's not. Right. We all have a purpose. We all have God-given gifts Not one, not two, not three. God gives us many gifts,
Right.
and it all depends on how we use those gifts. There's not, for me, it's not about competition. It's about, I want to be able, like I said, to support and encourage my sister to keep moving and keep trudging forward in this journey. We have to be able to uplift one another. And for me, that's what it's about, is I want to be able to uplift, and it speaks to one's character. It really speaks to a
It does.
person's individual character as to who you are. Not what you do, but
Mm-mm.
it speaks to who you are and how you carry yourself. And I think that that's really important to uplift.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And I
Pamela,
just
did
want
you?
to say,
Oh, go on.
I
Go on.
looked at your book too, Pamela. I didn't get it yet, though, but I'm waiting.
Oh, you didn't get it. Yeah,
I didn't get it yet.
I was. It'll come. It'll come. But I
I'm
was.
definitely looking forward to reading because I have to tell you, I love poetry, and I did get to read because I got to look inside the book when I ordered it. And I was like,
Right.
oh my gosh, I can't wait to read this. So I'm looking
Amen.
forward to it.
Amen. And
Awesome.
you know what? And Hope and Deborah, when I found out all of us are going to be on a show together, and I read Sister Breathe, which is Dr. Jenkins' book,
Mhm.
I said, you want to know about who you're with in community. And so
Right.
I never met you. You've done a lot of things, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I never met you. But fortunately, I'm meeting you now. But let me tell you, I just felt it. I would say it was Holy Spirit.
Mm.
Immediately when I found out, when I saw your name and your book, I immediately went to Amazon and ordered it. And I prayed that I would get it beforehand. And I was like, wow, this woman is, woo. I mean, you had me, it's fiction. And I was like, I couldn't put it down. And I haven't been in school for a couple of days. The school's not, and that's what I've been doing. I've been reading. And
Wow.
so
Good.
I just wanted to support you. I think we connect on a spiritual realm, and you're absolutely right. It's not a competition. What I
No.
do, you don't do. What you do, I mean, we happen to both write, but
Yeah.
all the other things you do, I don't do. What Deborah does, I don't do. But I think that's important
Mhm.
that you support wherever you can. And I do that. I buy jewelry from people, whatever they're doing, I try to support. They making some kind of food or sauce. I think it's important. We're in
Sure.
community. How
Yeah,
are we going to love each other
That's
if we
right.
don't support each other, right?
absolutely.
Like
Let
they
me
say,
pause. Oh, go on.
sharpens iron.
I'm sorry. Say that again, Hope.
Iron sharpens iron.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. There you
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely. I just want to say hello to all of the audience. For those who said hi to us this evening, Minister Rodriguez said, righteous indignation is very Christian to your poem's title, I'm Angry. And there's a sister here. You already know I messed up Hope's name, so please forgive me when I mess yours up. It's Tahami. Is that maybe one of your invitees? Tahami Diary?
Not sure.
Please, I'm so sorry to mispronounce your name, but she
Yeah.
says, I'm loving this. I need a supportive writing artist sister in my life. I
Wow.
see. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's hard to sit down, put yourself on an editorial deadline,
It
um,
is.
and get her done. It's really hard,
Yes.
especially as you draw closer to the end of that deadline. It's really hard. And so to have a community. Oh, wonderful. Thank you for just following this channel. You're making me feel good. Um, we are those who you can reach out to for support. We just do it for each other, and we'll help you get across the finish line, because once you're there,
That's right.
you know, you're going to start like Hope doing plays. You're going to do a movie, a documentary, and you're going to
Amen.
just have so much more coming from what you have within you that you want to share with the world.
Mhm.
Let me see. What else do I want to ask you all? I am not promoting me tonight, so but thank you for talking about having read the book, Pamela. Um, incidentally, I'm trying to, like I said before, for those of you who were not here, I'm ending the year out on a high note. Next week, we're talking to a lot of people are familiar with MLMs or network marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have aversions to them, but a lot of people are doing quite well. And so I've tried to steer away from them, but I do know a lot of people are doing well. So what I've done for next week's show is I've invited two leaders in their respective network marketing organizations. They are doing very well. They're not here to like recruit a team or anything, but they're going to come on next week to tell the audience how they can get involved if they want to in network marketing. It takes a lot of work. And so a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, but they don't have a product. Like we
Right.
have books. Books
Mm.
are the gifts that keep on giving. You know,
Mm.
you can do so much with a book, but what if you're not that creator? You know, what if you don't make jewelry or you don't make body lotions or things like that? And
Right.
you want to take a product that someone else has made and say, come and be a part of my family and I will help you earn. Well, that's what network marketing is for a lot of people. And so that's what the show next week will be about. On the 15th, I believe it's my third show for the month. And this is to you ladies as well. I'm going to have an actual show, and I believe Minister Rodriguez is on that show because we're talking about health and wellness, and he has a dynamic story to tell and to share. So and I'm hopeful to get a mental health professional to be a guest on alongside him. But at noon, from noon to 1, I'm just doing free promotion
Mm.
for anyone out there. So if you have your book, all of them hold, bring your books. But if you just want to promote Soul, noon, I'm gonna promote you. Same with you, Pamela,
Thank you.
because I want your book sold. I want people to read them. Now I have to say, I'm not big on fiction. My whole desk over here is full of look, it's nothing but good. Well, the other kind of good stuff, nonfiction. This is my favorite author, Dr. Amos Wilson. This one just came to this one. No, this one just came today,
Oh,
and then I have this. I mean, all of my books except for Street Player. That's fiction, I believe. That's fiction. But so I'm being pushed to relax my brain
mm.
and get into Souls Hope. Tell us a little bit about Souls.
So initially, Souls was written as a screenplay.
Okay.
The experience, I think, in writing the screenplay, and I'm speaking for myself, not necessarily for my co-author, who was Bob Tadero, but it was a personal shift for me and a journey. It kind of allowed me an opportunity to do my own soul searching. Although it's fiction, it definitely has a lot of reality to it. It prepared me and showed me like my moral responsibility, not just for myself, but for other people who were around me. It definitely speaks to free will. It speaks to choices and decisions that we make in our everyday lives. Um, and it shows the spiritual battles that are going on right now. And as Pamela mentioned, when we talk about the division of good and evil and hate and love, um, it's a spiritual warfare,
Yeah.
and it's taking place all around us. And sometimes I think about, like, for people, when we say that, or whether we're asking the question, are we truly who we profess to be, or are we truly just playing out a role, not necessarily living up to what life has in store for us? So it really prepared me, and it gave me a great amount of clarity and its consequences when we talk about spiritual battles and things that exist in our everyday lives. And to me, that was like a driving force for me when I'm thinking about my own eternal destiny. And I think a lot of people, when you talk about good and evil, when you talk about spiritual warfare, that's what this book is about. It's about your eternal destiny. It's about what you do that ultimately determines what your eternal destiny is.
Wow. That's interesting. That
Yes.
is very interesting. How was the collaborative process?
Yeah.
So this is the funny part. Um, Myself and my co-writer, Bob Tadero, we worked together about 20 years ago,
Wow.
and we worked in a beverage firm. And he reached out to me one day, and we just, you know what? I'm gonna say that it was fate
Okay.
because, and it was, yeah, it was fate because when he reached out to me and he started talking to me and he was like, "Oh, I was thinking about a screenplay," and I'm like, "Oh, what was it about?" And I was like, "Wow, that was something, that was in my head." And we just gelled. And
Wow.
once we wrote the screenplay. Um, he said to me, "What do you think about writing this as a book?" And he felt like I had the experience to do it. But he also, obviously, divine intervention, he had the experience as well. So we just got together. We started, putting our ideas out there, and it just came to fruition. And like I said, to me, it really, it really was a personal journey and a personal shift in my own spiritual understandings. So it worked. It worked well, and we did well together. And Souls, this one is book one, so it is a series.
Right.
So we do have another book that's going to be coming out in mid spring, which is book two,
Okay.
called Black Rose. So there's a lot of, yeah, there's it's a lot in there that I think people will think about, like their own personal journeys and the things that they may do in their lives, and as far as good and evil goes.
That's really interesting. And I love the way your paths crossed again after the 20 years, So yeah, things are divinely ordered by the Most High. We definitely
Always,
know that.
always.
Well, I want to give the audience, oops, we lost Pamela. She'll be back. But Hope, let me give the audience an opportunity to find your book and purchase it. Can you give us the price? I will type it in the chat.
Okay, the
Um,
price is $14.95,
okay.
and the book is available on Amazon.com, also on Barnes and Noble, also on my website, which you'll get a autograph copy, which is www.hhcbookstore.com.
Book what?
Bookstore.com.
Store. Okay.
And then also on www.booksbybob Tadero, and that's TODARO.com.
I have to get that again. Okay. Let me have his website one more time.
It's
Sorry.
www.booksbybob, B-O-B, Tadero, T-O-D, like in David, ARO.com.
And also autographed.
Yes.
There she is. She's back. There you are. Come on back in. There you go. Can you hear us?
Yes. Thank you. I don't know what happened. Yeah.
Okay, no, it's fine. What I was doing was taking a break to put your information to order your books in the chat.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So
Okay.
I hope I did it again with the G.
That's okay.
Look, and I actually used to be a very good speller, so I don't know what's going on today. Uh,
Well, Hope,
okay,
I have to say, I'm very excited that there's going to be a part two because I think
and
I'll finish this maybe in 2 days. So, I mean, I have to wait, but I'm definitely going to forward it to other folks. And I agree with you that it has you searching your soul and
Yes.
thinking it's very, very, even though it's fictional, it seemed like I've heard stories that they talk about. It's very common stories that's very relatable and
Yeah.
practical that all of us could struggle with. So it's awesome.
Thank
so
you.
I put the banner there so that if and I notice that people go back and they watch because they're not able to be here live, and
Exactly.
it at least even though I put it in the chat, I
Right.
put it here so they'll be able to get the information right on the screen. Let me do the same for you, Pamela.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. Where do you want them to go to purchase your book?
They can contact me at Pamela Grant James
Mhm.
at iCloud.com, or they can go to Amazon, and it's on digital and it's also on paper. I love paper. I know I'm old fashioned, but
I do too.
I do
you do
too.
too,
I do
Hope.
too.
I love flipping. I'm going to show them the books. This is wait. I'm sorry, I had to use my
Oh,
phone.
let
I
me
was
move
having a
that.
problem. This is Soul, so it even looks really. Wait. Yeah, this is Soul. So this is Hope's book,
Mm-hmm.
and this is my poetry book. If I can center it here, A Breath of
Yes.
Little
Wind,
higher, a little higher.
a little higher.
Right.
So that's what it looks like. It's kind of hard because I'm holding the phone, my computer. I don't know what's acting up today. It was, you know what, Hope? So, you know what was going on. There's spiritual warfare going on,
That's it.
and it was
That's it.
messing,
That's it.
with my computer.
Right.
But
Right.
my phone works. So
That's right.
God won. The angels
That's
won,
right.
right?
That's
Amen.
right.
So that was what was happening.
Pamela, can you give us the price of your paper and the ebook?
So the ebook is $9.99 and the paperback is $15. The paperback is $15 through Amazon and the ebook is $9.99. And if you order for a signed copy from me, it's $20 because it includes shipping and handling.
Right.
So if you want it signed, it's $20, and that's at Pamela Grant James at iCloud.com, and you send me your address and I'll be happy to connect with you. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to meet Hope because I have something I wrote that's it would be a mini play, very short.
Oh,
Really,
listen,
really mini. It's
that's
really
okay.
mini.
That's okay. That is okay.
All right.
Yes.
I'm there. I'm whatever you need.
All
I'm gonna
right.
have to find it. You ever have these moments where God, just like with the poetry, and I think it's what you're talking about with souls. It's like I didn't sit there and go, I want to write about being angry. I want to write about making a mountain. I want to write about being naked. None of the titles, lamenting. None of
Right.
the titles did I sit and say, this is what I want to write about. It poured out of me. So I believe that God gave it to me so that I
Yes.
can give it to people, right?
Yes.
And so it poured out. And I think that's what the people who've read the book, they're like, wow, it's just so personal, so deep.
Yes.
And but not personal in the sense that it's nothing about me. My
Right.
name is not
Right.
in there. There's
Right.
only one person's name, and that's my nephew, that God poured out on the poem when he was tragically murdered. And that's the only poem that
Sorry.
God poured out that was personal, that I mentioned a name, and his name was Marcus. But the rest is very general. In other words, it can apply to anyone. And it applies to the space that you're in. But also that poem applies to a lot of people, unfortunately, that has gone through that. So it's practical. One young man, the millennials, right?
Okay.
And
Right.
so young folks are reading it and they're enjoying it, which I like that it's intergenerational, right? Or
Yes.
multi-generational, if you will. So anywhere from a teen to, 90 years old or 100 can appreciate it because, again, it hits you where you are in places that we've all been. And I'm
Right.
so grateful that Reverend Dr. Deborah Jenkins was the editor, and she suggested that I put sections. And so there's several sections: hope, love, I can't remember my own sections, grace. And so and there's nothing else. And someone was reading the ebook and they said to me, it's just a page that says hope. I wondered about that. I said that was intentional because I didn't want to add, a quote or anything like that. I wanted to say that when you enter.
Wow.
Oh, no.
She's freezing, everyone. I want to hear what she had to say.
I do too.
She'll be back. She'll be back. You know what? Oh, let me
Oh
see.
no,
Let
no,
me see if I can let her know you're frozen.
I,
Um,
I so wanted to hear what she had to. Oh,
oh, she had to come back in. Okay. No, she will come back.
oh boy.
Thank you. While we're waiting for Pamela to come back in, Tahami, girl, please forgive me for messing your name up. I'm just going to call you Diary for the rest of the evening, okay? She says she runs the IG page Spiritual Black Girls. So she will definitely be sharing both of your books there. Thank you so much.
Oh,
We
thank you
appreciate
very much.
that.
Yes.
Oh, and she's anxious to hear what Pamela had to say as
I
well.
yes,
Oh my goodness.
definitely.
As soon as she comes back, I will bring her on, and we won't forget. She was about to talk about someone who had bought the ebook and
Right.
saw the page of hope, and she
Hope.
was about
Yeah.
to explain to us the impetus, the reason why she sectioned it off like that. And so, while we're waiting for Pamela to come back, let me share something that that Hope and I were planning to do, and
Oh yeah.
I love the Lord. I just love the Lord. Anyone who's purchased my book also know that I have been doing some real estate development down in Mississippi. And we were planning, because it is in a very poverty stricken area of Mississippi. So we were planning to bring retail commerce to this town, this historic town in Mississippi, so that we can infuse economic bring an economic engine, at least for the Memorial Day weekend, so that we would have the monies to partner with the town so they can build affordable housing. And we were full steam ahead. I mean, whoa. And Hope's play, A Diary of a Mother, of a Mom, is that correct?
Diary of
Diary
a
of a
Mother.
Mom? And her wonderful team of ensemble of actresses, we were all preparing to go to Mississippi for Memorial Day weekend. We had contracts signed. We
Yeah,
were ready, Hope.
we were ready. We
We
were ready.
were ready. And
They were so the cast, um, my director Amir Williams, everyone was so excited and
COVID,
COVID.
COVID, I tell you, but I still praise the Lord, because I know He always has bigger and
That's
better and
right.
brighter.
That's right.
And we were conceiving something that was going to be quite big and substantial and consequential to the people. But I
Right.
believe that because we were doing it with a pureness of heart,
Right.
and to my knowledge, I've spoken to the mayor a couple of times, but it's been difficult because, if you all know, Mississippi is one of the poorest
Yes.
states in the
Yes.
country. They are being hit very hard with COVID. They have a governor who would not allow the localities to put restrictions on. Many Blacks live in that state, and I'm just tearing up thinking about them. So my son said to me the other day, "Have you spoken to the mayor?" And because of where it is, it's somewhat remote. They're not like us. We can text
Right.
and get right
Right.
back at it. And I don't know, it was a few days ago and I haven't heard from him. But the last time I spoke to him, they hadn't lost anyone. They hadn't lost anyone to
Thank
COVID,
God. Thank
but the
God.
county had. And they look
Right.
at things in a county way. But anyway, I said all of that to say, because Pamela's back, Hope, I still pray that if it is the Lord's will, we are able to bring your dynamic
Definitely.
play to the people.
Definitely.
Wow.
They need to hear.
Yes.
And there are so many who are without their mothers, or who are without their
The
children.
children. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and I think it's something that should be national, in my opinion, because I love it. But we will continue to collaborate, and we
Yes.
will see where God takes us in
That's
terms
right.
of that.
I
But
agree.
Pamela, let
Yes.
me tell you,
With
we were
bated
all
breath.
like, "What? What was she about to say?" the people in the chat, everybody, we want to hear what you're about to say when the person purchased your ebook and saw the page there, and you about to drop
Oh
some
yeah,
knowledge on us.
right. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. That's Hope's book. When you read Hope's book, you're gonna see what was happening here.
Mm-hmm.
The word that the powers that be, the negative one doesn't want this to get out, but I left it blank and in sections. So Dr. Jenkins, you was the one that recommended it because you were the editor of my book, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
so appreciative. The sections, but I didn't, and you even said to me, you want to add something, write a paragraph, and I was
Right.
like, no. I prayed about it. It was no, because I wanted people to enter in with a blank mind, not tainted with a quote or a paragraph, not guided. All I wanted them to know that when they entered, they would feel hope, or when they entered this section, they would feel love. And I wanted whatever was going to be birthed out of them to be birthed from them after they read the poetry.
Wow.
And so that's why those sections, because somebody just asked me on Saturday, I was on a brave.org radio show, and the Mark Medley asked me about that. He said, I thought that was strange because he had the ebook. And he wondered why. And then when I explained it to him, he said, oh, I totally get that, And I was talking about the millennials and that people from all ages can relate. And one particular young man said he liked The Making of a Mountain. And I said, why? He said, it helps me to realize how I can grow and how it takes time to grow. And I was like, whoa. I mean, this was a 24-year-old. And when I wrote The Making of a Mountain, that wasn't what I had in mind. I.e., this is what happens. Whatever is in you, as you read this poetry, it helps you to birth what's in you. And I was like, wow, you got that from The Making of a Mountain. I mean, it makes sense with the title, but that was not what was in there. And the book and the poem Naked, I was invited to LGBTQ.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh.
Oh my. She'll come back and tell us about that experience with Naked. She will. She's having to use her cell phone. And I don't know about where anyone else is, but I heard the winds, they picked up like yesterday. We had a really bad storm, right? And so a little bit of that is happening again today. But she'll be back. So we're gonna promote your book some more. I'm gonna, when we get off, I'm going to order your book. It should be here by Friday.
Yes, also available on Kindle as well.
Oh, okay. Some books I definitely do better with on Kindle.
Yeah.
I will support the project because Pamela is promoting your book a little bit more than you. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Souls?
I think that when people read the book, I mean, we've gotten great reviews on Amazon.com, and people are basically saying that they felt every bit of it. They felt, and although again that it's a fictional book, for them, they were able to relate to the characters themselves. When you talk about heaven and hell, and especially in Souls, we do from our own interpretations describe what that looks like. So for a lot of people, they were like, it just reminded them that they have to be more humble, and they have to be and not have hate. They have to have love, and they have to realize that there are enemy forces around us every single day, trying to influence us to do things that are not godlike. So it relates to so many different things and in so many different ways. And I just hope that people walk away knowing that your life and the way that you live your life is how you'll end up living in eternity. How do you want to live in eternity? Do you want your life to be or do you want your eternal and your resting place to be in heaven or in hell? And this book really does show that part of it. And I think that people really they'll enjoy it, but it does. It definitely makes you think about, again, I keep saying it, it makes you think about your eternal destiny. There's so
Yes.
many different things in the book. There's so many different sections in the book. And I think for me, my favorite part, not to give too much away, but is about a doctor um, who gets to see what his eternal fate is. And you would think as a doctor, you save lives. You
Right.
save so many lives and you've done some great things throughout your life. Um, but he was also an abortion doctor prior
Mm,
to becoming a doctor that saved lives. So
wow.
just imagine um, how many lives that you took,
Wow.
how many lives that you took, and what those lives could
Could have
have
been.
been.
Could have been.
So it shows you that, and it's, to me, it was, when writing it, it was like just amazing, and it just made you think. Oh my gosh! Imagine if this
Mhm.
child. So I don't want to give too much away, but I
Oh
think that
my.
when people read it, they'll understand, where we were coming from. When we talked about, how you live your life. What is it that you're doing? Are you really who you say that you profess to be? Are you really that person?
Wow.
Mhm.
So that goes deep. Wow.
It does. Very,
I
very deep. Very
I
deep.
am definitely looking forward to purchasing it. And I'm actually going to sit down and read it. I'm going to take my time and start reading it. Because I am a nonfiction person,
Hmm.
but this, you have really piqued my interest. And that last story
Mhm.
that you just shared about the doctor, I can't wait to see the outcome. So, wow. Thank you. Pamela, you're back.
Yes.
Yes, I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. But we would love to hear the story you're about to share about Naked, the poem Naked, and you had been
Oh, the
invited to a
poem Naked.
LGBT.
Yes, I was
Yep.
invited to a celebration for LGBTQ
Mm,
Hmm.
in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and I am a pastor. And I tried to figure out what would I say. I didn't want to be preachy, you know what I mean?
right. Right.
And
Hmm.
I wanted to be, but I wanted to be who I am. And so what God gave me was Naked, because what that did was to tell people you are who you are and live your truth. And so all I did was read. I mean, there was a couple other speakers, but all I did was read that poem, which may be about 3 minutes.
Hmm.
And afterwards, I was amazed at the people that were crying and that,
Wow.
thanked me and was relating to it. That's just God.
That
And
Hmm.
it
is.
was just God.
That
And
is.
it spoke to them more than I could ever preach a word. I believe that.
Wow.
And so when they introduced me as Reverend Pamela James, once they heard that, it was a different, how can I say, a wall went down, but
Mm,
the heart was touched. And so that event too just made me love how God poured into me, and who knew that I would be somewhere to read that poem and that it would apply. I'm sure it applies other places too, but people's hearts were touched, and they
Wow.
weren't coming there for a service. If you understand what I
wow.
mean, they
Sure.
weren't
Sure.
coming there, but
Hmm.
God can work through poetry. He works through books. He works
Yes.
through fiction and
Yes, he does.
nonfiction. He
I
works
agree.
through art.
Yep.
He works through what we're doing and how we behave. As Hope has said, he works through us. And I believe that God is, that this book is alive. In other words, when you read it, the subtitle, it says, "Get ready for your soul to take flight." So
Hmm.
it's funny that her book is Souls, and the
So right,
subtitle here is
right.
"Get ready for your soul to take flight." So this is actually taking your soul on a journey. And when you read it, you'll understand it. And some you don't understand
Mm,
because maybe you're not in that space,
right.
So sometimes you're just not in a space. Most of it you do, but there's a couple of things in here about what God is not, theology, what
Mm,
theology is not.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
We always talk about what God is. And
Right.
God said, I want to share with you, Pamela, and everyone else. I want to share with you what God is not. We hear the
Mm,
phrase, God is not in a box, God is not this. God is so much more. And I think that's important for even people who know God or think they know God, and we only know a little bit, right? To know what God
Right.
is not. He's not about hatred. He's not about isms. He's not about making everybody cookie cutters. That's not who
Yes, that's
God
right.
is. And so God gave me a little glimpse in that writing of who he is not. And that came directly from God. He said, listen, this is what I am not. And I
Mm,
Mm,
thought, wow. So, it's, I find it exciting. So I hope you do too. But there's a lot in there. And some are very short. There's a letter to God, dear God, and it's asking God, you know, for forgiveness for things, for more grace and mercy.
wow.
Very transparent, and that I wrote to God. That I wrote to God, and I'm asking God, I need a little more of this, I need a little more of that. And how many times do we need, even those of us who have been around and Christians for a while or just godly people, need more grace, need more love, need more
Mm,
forgiveness?
mm,
I'm
yeah,
sure, even today, right now, I'm sure I need more of that. I
right,
don't know about
absolutely.
you
right,
guys, but I'm
Oh
right.
sure I
yes.
need more.
Oh yes.
and
Um,
and that's what, that particular one. So it's a bunch of them, but that's, yeah.
let me just share, Sister Diary. She said to you, the spirit definitely spoke through you to know how to connect with people who have, through experience, become afraid of certain situations. You created a healing in that moment for them, and I agree with
Mhm,
her. You know, because
definitely.
so often that
Mhm.
community, they run away from those of us they see as spiritual because
Yeah.
they have been ostracized,
Been
right?
through. Yes.
And so in so many situations they've been
Mhm.
told God's not for you.
That's right.
Mhm.
You know, not
That's right.
not their orientation, but they see that they're
Mhm.
not only their orientation, right?
Right,
They're
Right.
not their identity. They
right.
see
Mhm.
themselves as being created by God, and why
Mhm.
can't I have God? You
Right.
know, so you
Right.
created a situation or an
Well, thank
experience
you.
for them where they could feel that.
Mhm.
Thank you, Sister Diary,
Thank you.
for
Yes.
sharing
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And I thank you so much because you've been very interactive with the guests tonight and
Mhm.
listening and even offering to share their work. I think you were gone, Pamela, when I shared that Sister
Oh.
Diary is going to share. And please follow her page, Spiritual Black Girls on
Spiritual
Instagram.
girl.
Is that correct? Spiritual Black Girls. She's going to be sharing about both of your books over there. And so, how we
Okay.
build
Great.
community is we're going to go and follow you,
Yeah.
and hopefully you will follow us as well. And we'll
Absolutely.
get this sharing out. I mean, I find it incredibly gratifying to be able to
Absolutely.
share with the community,
Mhm.
um, other people. You know,
Mhm.
a lot of people are just waiting for what you have to share in a breath of inspiration, Pamela. A lot of
Right.
people are waiting for souls. You know,
Yes.
more people read fiction than I believe read nonfiction, because in school we must read nonfiction, right? And so
Right,
so when you're outside of that atmosphere, you want to read something that's lighter, or at least that'll make you have a sense of escape. But your book sounds like it's not going to give us a lot of escape. It's going to
No,
make
you
us
ain't
face
escaping
some
it.
true things in our lives,
Yes,
which
yes,
is great, which is
absolutely,
really great.
absolutely.
So, ladies, we have 7 minutes. This is your time to share. Let me see if there are any comments from Facebook, but please go on and just share what else you want us to know about you, the creative artist, right? Artist. Do I have any comments? I'm asking my producer if there are any Facebook comments right now. No? Oh, okay. I'm surprised because they are usually very interactive
Yeah.
on Facebook, but I think I'm capturing most of the comments over here, and I think that they've just enjoyed listening to both of you.
Mm.
It's been quite an experience also for me. We have 6 minutes. Oh, my sister, my actual sister, Juanita, has just purchased your book, Pamela.
Amen.
and trying to purchase souls. Let us know if you're having any problems so that we can tell Hope while you're still there. So yeah, she's a huge supporter. But my community here really is in general, and so I'm grateful for them. Look, they may not be in the millions, but they show up almost every week.
Great.
Um, and if they're not able to be on here live, they come back and they watch the replay because I will
Oh,
repost this in the morning.
Okay.
Because we want everybody to know about souls. We want everybody to know about a breath of inspiration. Pamela, I know what you went through to birth this, and I want people to get the fruits of your labor and
Right.
yours too, Hope. I love that cover, both of your covers. Can we shout out the cover artist for you, Pamela?
Oh,
Because he's
yes,
also mine.
yes.
He's also
So,
my cover artist.
yeah, so Bobby, if you could see it. Wait, I'm trying to. Oh man, next time I got to do better than this. I'm
Ivory
sorry.
Coast
So
Media.
Bobby Ivory,
Mhm.
you know, crafted this cover, and I am so sorry. I'm trying to fix.
There you
It's
go.
hard when you're on the phone. Maybe you can see it. Can you see it now?
Yep.
So
Yep.
Bobby Ivory developed this cover, and he was excellent. And what was excellent about him is he really got to know the artist, author, which was me,
Mm,
and he worked with me. I think he understood me, and he worked. And so if you need a illustrator, Bobby Ivory is your man. I
yeah.
just want to say that I think this is one thing I want people to know is that really quickly when I really decided I'm going to get this book published, I was sitting under a slide in the park with my granddaughter. It was raining. I was crying. And I said, God, you want me to do this? I haven't been working. How am I going to do it? And God said to me to call Reverend Dr. Deborah Jenkins, who was my professor. I think we had one class together. I had
Yeah.
her number, and I know she wrote the book about becoming princess.
Preparing the princess.
Preparing the
Mhm.
princess, right? And it was 8:30 in the morning, crying, raining, and I said, and she answered, and I told her, and she said, "Sure, I'll help you." And let me tell you, that was monumental in this book coming, being published. And so I want to say that, you might not think, because I didn't think I could do it. I thought, oh, this is just too much. And it's very frustrating, and it may make you want to pull your hair out. But I want to encourage those out there who have books that God has already told you to get published. Find someone, find Deborah, find some other people. You can contact me. I'm not a publisher, but I'll tell you what I can tell you. I'll just say, and what people told me, you just start writing. And if you want to write a book, just start writing. Now, this book of this poetry for me is over a couple of decades. So even though it's about, I think, 70 poems, maybe or maybe, yeah, it's over time. So this was not written overnight, but you can. Some people produce a book overnight. You birth it, God gives it to you.
That's
So I
right.
want to say, just really find someone to help you and just get it done. And you never know where it take you. So that's what I want to encourage people. If I can do it, you can do it. And you can get people to help you to do it, right?
Awesome. Yes. And that's what we want to also share again with Sister Diary. We are here. We're a community of
Yes.
writers. We're
Yes.
going to help you get across that finish line wherever you
Yes.
are in your process. We're here for you.
Mhm.
Hope, Juanita said she's not finding a book entitled Souls. Does she have to put the subtitle in there as well to
She
find
just
it?
on Amazon.com. She can put Souls by Hope Hollingsworth,
Yeah,
and
I
it
think
should
I
come right
use
up.
your name. Use your name. Use your name. It
She
was,
can use my name.
yeah,
Okay,
you have a
Juanita,
very unique name, and I don't
yeah,
think anybody.
Yeah,
she
very
does.
much.
So she sees all of your other books, just not this one. But I'm
Wow.
gonna help her when we get off, if she's not able to do while we're still
Isn't
here.
that weird?
Hope, would you like to also talk about wrap up also?
I just want to say that for me personally, I know a lot of people who always say, I don't want to. I'm not the type of person that really talks about myself a lot. And I know that someone told me that you have to really show what your self worth is, because if you don't, you can't help or motivate and encourage anyone else. So that's all I want to do. I want to be able to help to encourage, whether in my personal life or in my professional life, just to continue to be an inspiration to others, and to continue to spread and bring awareness to the different situations that we go through in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. That's wonderful and that's powerful. Juanita said she found it under Bob's name. She
Oh,
found it under
great.
Bob's name. So that's wonderful, Juanita.
Thank
You
you,
can
Daryl.
purchase it. He's her co-author.
Good.
This is the first in a series of 3, is it? Is that right, Hope?
This is the first and hopefully a series of 5, but
Oh, 5. Okay.
Wow.
So
yeah,
let me get
Awesome.
started. Let me get started. Okay, listen, Black Talk platform, I am so happy to be back, but I am extra happy because these two lovely, dynamic
Thank you.
authors are here with me tonight, Pamela James and Hope Hollingsworth,
Thank you.
Hollingworth Quaxum.
coax them. Just take the A out. Just
No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Okay. Please, everybody, come back because you cannot go with the way I pronounce stuff. No, I'm only kidding. I'm gonna have her name correct in the future. Hope Hollingsworth Coxum. Right?
coax.
Coxum. Forgive me. But I do thank everyone for being here with us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for purchasing their books. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing their
Thank you.
information. We want to shout out again our book cover artist, Bobby Ray Ivory. He doesn't even know we're talking about him tonight, but let me tell you, he also did what is it called, Pamela? He does visuals.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he did a video
great.
trailer for my book.
A
People
trailer,
love
a
that.
video trailer
Yeah.
He
for
did
her
a
book and
video
for
book
my
trailer.
Princess
Yeah,
book.
it was
Yep.
great.
So he's just dynamic, and I want to always shout him out because he really works with the author to get their idea. So shout out to him, kudos to him. And Sister Diary says a great talk, amazing, great guest, and thank you for this information and inspiration. So that is a wonderful note on which to end tonight. Please join us again next week while we're talking about building your wealth, having multiple streams of income through the multi-level marketing venue. We will have Olive Vega. She is high up in the paparazzi, and you know my go-to person is Neff Most Def Edwards, but she's not trying to build like that. But Olive has really she's built her own little empire in the paparazzi industry. So she'll be my guest. And Mr. Keith Tucker. This is a group that is blacks, owned by blacks, started by blacks, and they are really doing well. He and his wife, they are partners in My Financial, don't let me start the lies, but anyway, My Financial Vision is actually the name of his website, but the name of the company is something other. They will be my guests next week talking about their opportunities, and we hope that you'll be here to share with us. Until then, God bless you all and have a good night. Yes, meet me in the back room, in the green room. Stay a minute. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Deborah. Thank you, Hope. I love you.